Greetings and welcome back to 50 Shades of Beige. Well, I really appreciate the response to the last video I had. If you missed it, we had a look at the GTX 1070 playing Black Myth Wukong. So since that video did relatively okay, I went ahead and decided to continue with the series. These are just quick one-off videos. They're not part of the regular videos and long-term projects I have going on. So we're going to keep the production value to a minimum here. Today we're having a look at the second most popular option on the community survey. That's the Sapphire Nitro RX 580. Let's go ahead and see how it does. As always, our test bench for today is a Core i9-12900K on a Gigabyte Aorus Elite AX Z690 motherboard with 32 gigs of G.Skill DDR5 6000, cooled by the Thermalright Frozenote 360mm AIO, and all powered by the classic Corsair AX1200i. Our SSD of choice for today is a Samsung 980 Pro. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Just to give you a quick explanation of what I've got with Riva Statistics Tuner here. So this is our GPU RAM usage and our GPU utilization and GPU temperature. This is our RAM usage and RAM usage percentage. This is our CPU wattage, CPU usage percentage, and CPU temperature. Alright, let's take a look at graphics. It looks like it's recommending 67% scaling with TSR on with everything set to low. So we'll go ahead and kick that off first. Alright, and so far looking great actually. I'm pleasantly surprised that we're in this range. This is fantastic. Alright, and here we have it, 57 FPS average, maximum 78, minimum 47. Great performance overall, but now that I'm having a look here, it looks like our display resolution was set to 1280 by 720. So it's 67% super resolution set there. That's not great. Let's go ahead and see if we can do a little bit better here with our RX 580. Alright, first off, we're going to put our resolution back up to 1920 by 1080, because the RX 580 should be able to handle 1080p. It looks like it set our super resolution down to 44%. I'm going to bump that up to 50. We're going to stay with TSR. We're going to leave frame generation on and see if we can do 1080p medium. Let's see if the trusty RX 580 can handle these settings. Alright, still hanging in that 85, 82 range there. Not terrible, 80 FPS. This definitely looks considerably better. You do get a little bit more of the scaling and frame generation artifacts though. There's like some weird specks in the water here and there. YouTube is going to crush this recording down really bad, so it probably won't look great. But I'm just kind of pointing out to you what I can see here because you're going to have a hard time seeing it. I would still say 80 FPS, not bad, really not bad. I'm not seeing a ton of frame generation like artifacts or anything like that. Generally, TSR does a pretty good job of generating frames without causing too many artifacts, unlike FSR, which still needs a little bit of work. Let's go ahead and do 1080p high. We'll leave FSR at 50% and see how we do. Alright, it looks like this is going to be our happy place here. Still not going to be great. You can definitely tell that there are frames being generated, just generally speaking. Some little jagged things going on with the rocks there. I'd say if you want the cinematic look and you don't care about frame generation artifacts, which are pretty minimal if I'm being honest, that this is definitely the way to go. Yeah, we get considerably less shadow pop-in, and pop-in in general when we're at 1080p high. There's still some here and there, but it's really not bad. And I'd imagine if you're playing Wukong, you're probably paying attention, once again, more to the middle of the screen than anything else, so like the trees popping in and stuff like that really isn't that big of a deal. There's our bingo right there. We got it. Average 60 FPS, maximum 68, minimum 51. That's at 1920 by 1080, graphics preset to high, super resolution at 50% scaling, so not great, but not bad. Obviously, ray tracing is off. We're using TSR with frame generation, and motion blur is also turned off. So yeah, if I was to play this game on an RX 580, these are the settings I would use. Now, I know there are a lot of you out there that do not like super resolution sampling, they don't like frame generation and so on. Unfortunately, this game does not have an option for me to turn it off altogether. But what we can do is leave TSR on, but turn the frame generation off and then scale to 100%, which effectively disables it, but doesn't actually disable it. And if we're gonna do that, I think we better go with graphics preset medium, because high is gonna be a little bit too much for our poor RX 580 to pump out. And not looking too hot there. We're not able to hang above 30 FPS without the super resolution. It does look much better, obviously, because you don't have the artifacts that come along with the temporal super resolution. The water looks amazing, everything looks good, but you're really at just barely 30 FPS, in fact, a little bit lower. I know some people will say, well, 30 FPS is cinematic, and to that I'd say not really, because all it's going to take is one intensive scene where something important happens and you're going to drop considerably below 30 like we are right now. That's just not great. You're definitely going to be behind a little bit. Once again, the recommendation would be 50% resolution scaling at 1920 by 1080, TSR on, frame generation on, graphics preset to high. That should stick you right at 60 FPS, assuming that your CPU can keep up with your RX 580. That's going to about do it for our RX 580 running Black Myth Wukong. If you have any other GPU or CPU combos you want me to try out with the game, be sure to leave them down below in the comments. We still have a regularly scheduled video coming out on Sunday, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.